Yo, what's up, guys? It's the MMA Analyst here to give you my predictions for UFC 141. Before we get down to it, if you are looking to bet on MMA, contact me or check out the links below in the description or whatnot. Basically, a few changes are happening. Bodog will be rebranding themselves. Basically, it's going to be the same old Bodog, same management, same everything. It's just a new website name. They're doing it for whatever legal purposes or whatnot. So they're actually going to have in the upcoming months some pretty good incentives for people to sign up to Bodog, etc., or the new site and the new name, etc., etc. Also, Sports Interaction is stepping it up as well with their MMA betting. They're allowing for certain lines and just different things. Just contact me if you want any information. But yeah, Bodog or this new site, I forget the name right now, but it hasn't officially been launched, and Sports Interaction. All right, so let's get right down to it. UFC 141, Brock Lesnar versus Alistair Overeem. All right, let's just say right now, it looks like this is going down. I mean, when I heard this was going to happen, obviously for those who've watched me long enough, y'all know I had some kind of conspiracy theory that Brock Lesnar would never come back and fight. And I'm glad I'm wrong, and and I hope that this fight does go down. Obviously, there's a lot of cloudiness around Overeem with the roids and whatnot. He tested, he passed the test, and so far it's all green lit. But I mean, real talk, this is the kind of fight where when they said Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar, I was like, yo, that's a really good fight. I really hope this happens. So I mean, I feel uneasy about this fight. Like, for some reason, it's like, man, what's gonna happen at the last moment? What's gonna F this up? I really hope that doesn't happen on either side. I know Alistair Overeem's mom is sick, and he had some stuff to do with that. So I don't know. At the end of the day, let's hope 1 week out that this still goes down. As for the fight and what's gonna happen, I mean, this is pretty simple. I think this fight goes one of two ways. One, Brock Lesnar runs across the cage, takes Alistair Overeem down, and the fight is essentially over for Alistair Overeem. Not that it'll be finished in the first round, but Alistair Overeem will never be able to recover properly from that takedown, from being on his back. I think if Brock Lesnar does get Alistair Overeem down, get in half control, start throwing punches, etc., etc., the next time Alistair stands to his feet, he's going to be greatly depleted in energy. So, basically one takedown for Brock Lesnar, the fight's his. If there's like in-fight betting, all you got to do is wait and say, oh, Brock took him down, it's over. All right, now what's the other way? Obviously, Brock tries to get a takedown and gets hit at some point on the way in. He's not as aggressive as he needs to be with the takedowns, allows Alistair Overeem to kind of depict the pace of the fight. And basically, Brock Lesnar gets hit with anything before he gets a takedown. So if Brock Lesnar gets hit with anything, he is not going to like it against Alistair Overeem. He might go into defense mode, which could be either running with his hands covering his head, doing the spin, rolling all over the place, or it could be, the kind of takedown that Alistair Overeem will be able to stuff. A frantic, oh my God, please don't do that to me type of a takedown. And in that case, the fight is over in the first round for Brock Lesnar. I mean, I don't see Alistair Overeem winning a decision. I don't see Alistair Overeem, taking this into the later rounds. If Alistair Overeem wins this fight, it's going to be over in round 1. If Brock Lesnar wins this fight, I think he can finish it before round 3 starts. So basically the question is, after all of that, what am I going to go with? Am I going to go with Brock Lesnar getting the takedown before he gets hit, or Alistair Overeem hitting Brock Lesnar first, or surprising us all, actually stuffing a takedown, maybe catching a guillotine? It's going to be difficult to catch a guillotine. We got all that muscle around that arm, and then Brock Lesnar, all that muscle around his upper body, head, neck, chest, shoulder area. I don't know where he's going to find a place to cut off circulation or blood or whatever, or air, but anyways, That's tough, man. It's tough. At the end of the day, it's a coin toss. I think at the end of the day, I probably am leaning towards Brock Lesnar, but I mean I'm rooting for Alistair Overeem all day. So my pick is going to be Alistair Overeem. He is the betting favorite. It is based on probably how long has it been since Brock Lesnar's been in that cage. Brock Lesnar, the last time he fought was October 23rd, 2010, so over a year ago. And he was injured. He had parts of his body removed, important parts. So that ring rust, I'm sure, is going to exist. Alistair Overeem, he's been more active. And at the end of the day, I think that could play a part as well in exactly what Brock Lesnar has to bring to the table. So with Brock Lesnar coming off of the long delay, with Brock only having 7 fights in his whole career, and with Brock Lesnar being deathly afraid to get hit, and Alistair Overeem, the last guy you want to hit you, I'm gonna go with Alistair Overeem with the first round TKO over Brock Lesnar. Next fight, Nate Diaz, Donald Cerrone. Nate Diaz, you know the Diaz boxing, tappity tap tap, rappity rap, swell your face up slowly, body shots, do your thing, right? Obviously that's what he wants to do. He also has really good jiu-jitsu. He can catch you, get that submission, etc., etc. Donald Cerrone, though, he's going to be first of all, he's not a tear. He's killing it, and I think he's going to be using his reach in this fight to his advantage. I'm talking kicks, a lot of push kicks, a lot of movement, in and out, and I don't see Cerrone. I mean, he obviously has, his last loss was a submission loss to Ben Henderson. I mean, that could very well happen against a guy like Nate Diaz, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do see Nate Diaz, going out there doing what he does best, but it not being enough, and Donald Cerrone using, superior all-around striking. So when you include, the and the knees and the Muay Thai clinch and the punching, all of it together, I think Donald Cerrone is definitely a better, well-rounded striker. Nate Diaz does have some good boxing and definitely effective, but who has it really been effective against recently? I mean, he picked apart Takanori Gomi, but Roy McDonald threw him all over the cage. Dong Hyun Kim did the same. Not so bad, but. And then Marcus Davis again, solid striking against Marcus Davis, solid striking against Rory Markham. So Takanori Gomi, power, but not exactly the best striker. Marcus Davis, Rory Markham, these guys aren't exactly specialists. Donald Cerrone, I definitely think ends up keeping this fight on the feet. Maybe going for a takedown in the last 10 seconds of the round, getting the takedown. I think he can get a takedown whenever he wants, but not really staying on the ground too much, because obviously he can get caught at any point with a submission, and then he doesn't really want to have to deal with that. I am going to go with Donald Cerrone to win via decision. Next fight, John Fitch versus Johnny Hendricks. Pretty simple. John Fitch is the second best in the world, I believe. I think most agree. At welterweight, George St. Pierre being number 1. He's the best because, or he's second best because he basically goes out there, gets you on your back, or gets you up against the cage. He's a grinder. It's not fun to watch. His submission game is pretty decent. His striking game, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's effective and gets the win. Johnny Hendricks, I don't think he's going to be able to stop John Fitch. Just as simple as that. John Fitch is I think he's his 15th fight in the UFC. I think he's on a 5-fight win streak, 6 fights undefeated. A win here should probably have him facing the winner of the interim title matchup between Diaz and Condit. I think that would be fair. But then again, there's some politics going on with John Fitch with, Dana wants him to fight Koscheck or whatever, whatnot. Plus, Fitch has not always been a team player, whatever. End of the day, John Fitch is number 2. And I think he does deserve, if he wins this fight with Johnny Hendricks, to get a shot at that interim title. And then, maybe fight GSP if he wins when GSP comes back from that injury. But anyways, John Fitch, I've got him winning this fight by decision. That's what he does, right? That's John Fitch. Next fight, Vladimir Matyshenko versus Alexander Gustafsson. Most of the time, age to me doesn't really matter a lot. In MMA, if one fight's better than another fighter, or if one, the skill set is always kind of what plays into it for me. But in this fight, skill set obviously plays in as well, but age is a huge thing. Alexander Gustafsson, 24 years old. Matyshenko, 40 years old. He's actually done pretty decent in the UFC. 4-1. In his recent stint in the UFC. He was in the UFC back in the day. But I'm saying this later one, only losing to John Jones. Knocking out Jason Brills, TKO Ferreira, split decision over Elliot Marshall. But I think Gustafsson is going to be able to just go out there and just kind of do whatever he wants. He's very, very solid with the strikes. A lot of TKOs, solid with ground and pound. Just overall, a solid fighter. Only loss coming to Phil Davis. And I think in this fight, Alexander Gustafsson is just going to really kind of just kind of run through Matyshenko. If Matyshenko can avoid that, can use his striking, can use his grappling, whatever he wants or whatever he can, and avoid a loss to Gustafsson, that would be very, very, very surprising. I don't think it's going to happen. Matyshenko is obviously a vet. He's been in the game for a long time. He's fought the best. And, Gustafsson, I think this kind of could be, close to the end of the road for Matyshenko. So I do have Gustafsson winning, and I'm going to go Gustafsson by TKO. And let's see, last for the main card, Nam Phan versus Jim Hedges. Nam Phan, Jim Hedges basically, submission in all of his wins, I believe. 9 fights, 9 submissions. However, nobody really of any kind of mention. His greatest opponent to date was Alex Caceres. And in that fight, if I remember right, he kind of was leaving his face open for a lot of shots. He would, get the fight to the ground. I think they had a nice little grappling back and forth, a lot of transitions and changing in positions. But in all of that, he was taking a lot of damage, and if Caceres had some power, he could have probably put some hurting on him. Nam Phan, not saying that he's exactly TKO monster. He's not. Not saying that he's the greatest fighter ever or any of that stuff, but I think in this situation, he should be able to avoid getting submitted. He should be able to, stuff some takedowns, keep it on the feet, and win with strikes. If he does get taken to the ground, I think he can probably get back to his feet and avoid the submissions. He just doesn't want to play the submission game. If he's on the top, throwing punches, and Hedges is going for leg lock or rolling on the stomach and doing all type of stuff, I think Nam Phan should just kind of separate, get back to his feet, and kind of rinse and repeat. So I've got Nam Phan winning this. I'm going to say by third round or second round TKO. On the undercard, I've got Ross Pearson over Junior dos Santos, Danny Castillo over Anthony Njokuani, Dong Hyun Kim over Sean Pearson, Jacob Volkmann over Efrain Escudero, Matt Riddle over Luis Ramos, and Diego Nunes over Manny Gambierian. So there you go, UFC 141. It's actually going to be free on Xbox Live, so that's kind of pretty dope. Am I going to watch it there? I don't know. I'm going to be gone for the holidays and all that other stuff. For the people waiting for my betting video, I will still be doing my betting video as always. And it should be coming out like 48 hours before the event starts. Possibly earlier, because I think the lines are pretty much all up. The lines are up, so I should be able to maybe even get it done earlier. Alright, so there you go. UFC 141. And then after that, we just got MMA every single week. I think we have like 5 serious, solid MMA events in 4 weeks or something like that. It's crazy. MMA, it's important. Peace.